The dream of buying a home is getting further out of reach for many, with Adelaide's median house price soaring above $900,000 for the first time.
The Adelaide property market has been a surprise to many. When the year started, there were predictions that house prices in Adelaide would flatline. But now we're starting to see headlines about Adelaide property prices reaching a grim milestone. So today, I'm going to look at what's been happening to house prices in Adelaide, what's expected and why, and the one event that's just happened that could change everything for Adelaide house prices. Let's dive in. Hello, it's Nero here, and if you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button because I talk about all things related to the Australian property market and the economy. The Adelaide property market has been one of our strongest performing markets. Year to date, property prices are up an astonishing 14.4%. But what's even more amazing is that when we look at the rate of growth over the last 3 months, the rate of growth is actually the fastest it's been since May 2022. So that means that the rate of price growth in Adelaide is actually accelerating. Here's why I expect Adelaide to continue to have significant price growth. First of all, when we look at this chart, which shows the rental vacancy rates across all of our capital cities, you can see the grey line, which is tracking Adelaide's vacancy rate, is the lowest in the country. That's right, Adelaide has the lowest vacancy rate in the country, not Perth, as so many media outlets might lead you to believe. And this isn't a new phenomenon either. It's actually been the case for quite some time. Here's an article from back in September, so roughly 9 months ago, showing that Adelaide already had the lowest vacancy rate in the country back then. And what's really scary is that if we look at this next chart, which tracks the difference between the current vacancy rate versus the long-term average, the blue dots are showing the long-term average. The red is the current vacancy rate. And what you can see is that Adelaide right now has not only the lowest capital city vacancy rate in the country, but the gap between the long-term average vacancy rate and the current vacancy rate is the biggest of all the states, showing it has the biggest undersupply of rental accommodation right now. And this is purely because there just aren't enough properties in Adelaide for its growing population. Greater Adelaide needs to build extra 300,000 homes by 2050 as single-person households drive crisis. South Australia could run out of land within 30 years unless drastic changes are made to meet housing demands, a landmark report has found. Greater Adelaide needs another 300,000 homes to meet demand by 2050. The Greater Adelaide Regional Plan, it's a discussion paper, identifies that while there's enough land for an additional 200,000 homes, the state will run out of land within 30 years without an ongoing rezoning program. So what that tells you is that Adelaide and South Australia have a major problem. They don't have enough houses. They're about to run out of land if they don't rezone. So even though we are starting to see that South Australia is the state that has the highest number of new building approvals, it's nowhere near enough to meet the demand. Of course, whenever a state is looking to increase supply, just like the New South Wales state government is doing in Sydney, and now the South Australian government is trying to do in Adelaide, you need to be careful. You can't just buy anywhere because property prices in Adelaide are rising the fastest that they have in the last 2 years. You still need to do your due diligence because there are certain areas that are actually falling right now.
We have seen house and unit prices achieve new record highs in Adelaide.
But they're not going up everywhere. Woodville West has seen the biggest drop, almost 9%, followed by Kilburn. In the eastern suburbs, Hectorville is becoming more affordable.
And when you're looking at the economic strength of South Australia, let's have a look at the unemployment figures. As of March of this year, South Australia had the lowest unemployment in the country. Now, I do expect these figures will fluctuate, especially as South Australia's population continues to increase. And for the first time ever, the South Australian economy was voted the country's best state economy. An influx of construction completions, an increasing number of new builds, and a strong jobs market has seen South Australia top the leaderboard when it comes to economic strength. The southern state, known for its food and wine, overtook Victoria to take out the top spot in CommSec's latest State of the States report for the first time in the survey's 15-year history. And now, there's been a major shift by the South Australian government that I expect will lead to even more sustained property price growth. Stamp duty officially abolished for all first home buyers who build new homes. The Malinowskis Labor government will officially abolish stamp duty for all first home buyers who buy or build a new home, and extend the first homeowners grant to all eligible first home buyers as part of the 2024 to 25 budget. To further boost housing supply and help more South Australians into home ownership, the 2024 to 25 budget will abolish property value thresholds for both the stamp duty exemption and first home owner grant at a cost of $30 million over 4 years. With the abolition of property value limits, a first home buyer who purchased a new dwelling broadly in line with the median house price of $750,000 will receive a benefit of over $50,000, including the first homeowner grant of $15,000. But do you remember what happened to property prices when the Scott Morrison federal government decided to give incentives for people to build homes? It drove property prices higher on a national level. I expect you're going to see something similar in South Australia, because although this scheme might be intended to increase supply, what it actually does is it stimulates demand. Why? Because now someone doesn't have to pay whatever they had to pay in stamp duty. That $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, that can be put towards a deposit to get a new home. So it actually allows more people into the market. Yes, that's great, but when you already have a massive property shortage in South Australia, having this sort of scheme only increases demand even more than supply. As I showed you earlier, there already is a shortage of land in South Australia, so you can have all these people wanting to buy, but if there isn't enough land, you have more demand than supply, driving property prices higher. So ultimately, what's the verdict on Adelaide? Property prices are set to keep rising for quite some time, yet on a broad level. We have a massive housing shortage there, we have increased incentives for demand, strong economy, tight vacancy rates, but you can't just buy anywhere in Adelaide. Certain areas will continue to grow, driven by the massive undersupply, while others will struggle because of oversupply. You need to do your due diligence. If you want help with that, check out the link in the description below to get totally for free the audio version and digital version of my book. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.